Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magic Gamer 74. I'm Anthony Gamer, and in today's episode, we're going to continue on discussing great cards from the expansion Mirage. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. If you like the stuff you see on here, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, please check out the disclaimer down below. It will save both of us a lot of headaches. So without further ado, let's get into the cards. Alright, and we will begin with the color blue. And our first card for today is Bay Falcon. This 1/1 flying creature with vigilance costs 1 colorless and 1 blue. If you'd like to add this card to your blue deck, it will only cost you 15 cents and it was not reprinted. If you need a card that's going to help you temporarily get rid of a big creature that your opponent controls or something like that, like use this card. And this is Boomerang. It casts for 2 blue. It's an instant. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. And that can be anything from a creature, enchantment, land, whatever. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will only cost you 26 cents and it's been reprinted several times. Alright, I know what you're probably thinking, like, most of the time when you recommend a 1/1 creature, it usually has to cast for 1, right? Well, this one has a really cool fast effect, so pay attention. Daring Apprentice, a 1/1 creature, casts for 1 colorless and 2 blue. Tap, sacrifice Daring Apprentice, counter target spell. Not bad, huh? If you'd like to add this card to your blue deck, and I do highly recommend it, it will cost you 51 cents, and it's been reprinted several times. Everyone who's been playing Magic for a while knows that the foundation of a blue deck should be counters, and this is the counter with an extra added smack. This is Dissipate. This instant casts for 1 colorless and 2 blue. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. If you would like to add this card to your blue deck, it will only cost you 42 cents, and it's been reprinted a few times. Next up, we have Flash. Now, this is also a cool card, and this is also an instant. It casts for 1 colorless and 1 blue. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2 colorless. Nice. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $1.36, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have one of my other favorite types of creatures to play with. That is an Efret. This is the Harmattan Efret. And those of you that don't know, an Efret is a type of djinn. This 2/2 flying creature casts for 2 colorless and 2 blue. Its fast effect is tap 1 colorless, 2 blue. Target creature gains flying until end of turn. Nice. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 15 cents, and it was not reprinted. All right, next up we have a card that may cause some confusion, so listen carefully. This is Metal. This instant casts for 1 colorless and 1 blue. If target spell has only 1 target, and that target is a creature, change that spell's target to another creature. Kind of cool. If you'd like to add this card to your blue deck, it will cost you 22 cents, and it was reprinted 1 time. Next up, we have a card that's been reprinted several times since and before, and that is Memory Lapse. This instant casts for 1 colorless and 1 blue. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, put it on top of its owner's library instead of into that player's graveyard. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 38 cents, and like I said, it's been reprinted before and since. Many of you are familiar with Diabolic Tutor and Demonic Tutor. Well, this is the blue version of that card, sort of. This is Mystical Tutor. It is an instant that casts for 1 blue. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. Yeah. This is a little more expensive than some of the other cards. It will cost you $7.22, and it has been reprinted a few times. Next up, we have one of my favorite cards in this expansion, and that is Polymorph. True story, I had been looking for this card when the expansion came out, and I never got it in a pack. Years later, I had to end up actually purchasing the card. But anyway, it's a sorcery that casts for 3 colorless and 1 blue. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated.
Its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. The player puts that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles all other cards revealed this way into their library. If you'd like to add this fun card to your collection, it will cost you $3.88, and it has been reprinted a few times. Next up, we have another really fun card, especially if you have an opponent with a big creature, and that is Ray of Command. This instant casts for 3 colorless and 1 blue. Untap target creature an opponent controls and gain control of it until end of turn. That creature gains haste until end of turn. When you lose control of the creature, tap it. Yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 15 cents, and it's been reprinted a few times. And our final blue card for today is Vaporous Djinn. Now, as many of you know, when you play with a Djinn, you have to pay some price for it, and this one is no exception. It casts for 2 colorless and 2 blue. It's a flyer, a 3/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, Vaporous Djinn phases out unless you pay 2 blue. While it's phased out, it's treated as though it doesn't exist. It phases in before you untap during your next untap step. If you'd like to add this card to your deck, it will cost you 13 cents, and it was not reprinted. Alright, and let's move on to the color black. And I love this artwork. Actually, I love the artwork in this expansion period. This is Binding Agony. This enchantment casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. Enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, Binding Agony deals that much damage to that creature's controller. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you 13 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have Bone Harvest. This instant casts for 2 colorless and 2 black. Put any number of creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Oh yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 23 cents, and it was reprinted 1 time. Next up, we have Breath Stealer. This Nightshade creature is a 2/2 that casts for 2 colorless and 1 black. Tap 1 black, Breath Stealer gets +1, -1 until end of turn. So you can pump it, but don't over pump it or you'll kill it. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you 19 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have Catacomb Dragon. If you ever played against me on Arena, you know I love my dragons. This particular 4/4 flying dragon casts for 4 colorless and 2 black. Whenever Catacomb Dragon becomes blocked by a non-artifact, non-dragon creature, that creature gets -X, -0 until end of turn, where X is half the creature's power rounded down. So if you'd like to add this dragon to your black deck, it will cost you $3.38, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have Choking Sands. This is really good if you're playing against somebody who loves their dual lands. This is a sorcery that casts for 1 colorless and 2 black. Destroy target non-swamp land. If that land was non-basic, Choking Sands deals 2 damage to that land's controller. Oh yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you 34 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have one of my favorite cards, and a card that I still do not understand why they banned it from Arena, bastards, and that is Dark Ritual. This instant casts for 1 black, and it adds 3 black to your mana pool. If you'd like to add this card to your deck, and I don't blame you if you did, actually you should have 4 of them in every deck that is black, it will cost you 86 cents, and it's been reprinted several times before and since. Next up, we have Ebony Charm. This instant casts for 1 black. Choose 1. Target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Exile up to 3 target cards from a single graveyard, or target creature gains fear until end of turn. It can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures. If you would like to add this to your black deck, it will cost you 22 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have Enfeeblement. This enchantment casts for 2 black. Enchant creature. Target a creature as you cast this. This card enters the battlefield attached to that creature. Enchanted creature gets -2, -2. If you'd like to add this to your black deck, it will cost you 16 cents, and it's been reprinted a couple times. Next up, we have Feral Shadow. Again, I love that artwork. This 2/1 flying creature casts for 2 colorless and 1 black. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you 8 cents, and it's been reprinted a few times. Next up, we have a card that your opponents are really going to hate, and that is Gravebane Zombie. This 3/2 creature casts for 3 colorless and 1 black. If Gravebane Zombie would die, put Gravebane Zombie on top of its owner's library instead. It's like that unlucky penny. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it costs 8 cents, and it was reprinted 1 time. Next up, we have Ravenous Vampire, another card that I really like to put in my vampire decks that I've built over the years. This is a 3/3 flyer. It casts for 3 colorless and 2 black. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a non-artifact creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Ravenous Vampire. If you don't, tap Ravenous Vampire. If you'd like to add this card to your vampire deck, it will cost you 24 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have a type of card that my best friend's son loves to play with, and that is a black creature that regenerates, and this is Restless Dead. It's a 1/1 creature that casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. Tap 1 black, regenerate Restless Dead. Yep, I can see Jake having these in his deck. I'm sure he does. If you'd like to add this card to your deck, it will cost you 17 cents, and it has not been reprinted. And once again, carrying on with the tradition of this channel, we have a 1/1 for 1. This is Sewer Rats. Its fast effect is tap 1 black, pay 1 life. Sewer Rats gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate no more than 3 times each turn. If you'd like to add this creature to your black deck, or if you are looking forward to the next expansion, it would really go in a deck using cards from the new one that's coming up. It will cost you 22 cents, and it was not reprinted. Next up, we have another very practical card, and that is Shallow Grave. This instant casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. Return the top creature card of your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste until end of turn. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. This card's quite expensive, so yeah, and it will cost you $35, and it has not been reprinted. And because I'm such a nice guy, I looked to see if I could find a card that did the same thing that was a little cheaper. And it was hard, because there were cards that did the same thing that were still quite pricey, but this is the best I could find, and that is Wake the Dead. It is an instant that casts for X, colorless, and 2 black. Cast this spell only during combat on an opponent's turn. Return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice those creatures at the beginning of the next end step. So, about the closest I could find. If you'd like to add this card to your collection, it's not going to cost you as much. It will cost you about $3.77, and it's been reprinted 2 times. Next up, back to Mirage, of course, and we have Skulking Ghost. This is another fun card I love to play with, and I love the artwork. All right, this 2/1 creature casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. It's flying. When Skulking Ghost becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you 11 cents, and it was reprinted 2 times. Next up is one of the most awesomest cards in this expansion, and in Magic period, and that is Spirit of the Night. This 6/5 creature casts for 6 colorless and 3 black. It has flying, trample, haste, protection from black. Spirit of the Night has first strike as long as it's attacking. Yes. Another card that I did not get back in the original run of Mirage. This is an ultra rare, I tell you. I bought a bunch of packs and never got this card either. I did eventually, though. And if you'd like to add this card to your collection, it will cost you $5.75, and it was not reprinted. And for those of you that have heard the rumors that there is a way to get that creature out faster, well, there is, and this card will help you. This is Urborg Panther. It's a 2/2 creature that casts for 2 colorless and 1 black. Now, listen to this. Tap 1 black, sacrifice Urborg Panther, destroy target creature blocking Urborg Panther. Sacrifice a creature named Feral Spirit, a creature named Breath Stealer, and Urborg Panther. Search your library for a card named Spirit of the Night, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck and help hopes of getting out that really badass Spirit of the Night card faster, it will cost you 8 cents, and it was not reprinted. And next up, we have Wall of Corpses. This creature wall casts for 1 colorless and 1 black. It's a 0/2. Remember, it has Defender, so it can't attack. Tap 1 black. Sacrifice Wall of Corpses. Destroy target creature Wall of Corpses is blocking. Yeah. If you'd like to add this card to your black deck, it will cost you 14 cents, and it was not reprinted. Our final black card and our final card for today, and that is Zombie Mob. This 2/0 creature casts for 2 colorless and 2 black. Zombie Mob enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. When Zombie Mob enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards from your graveyard. So yeah, this is kind of like Frankenstein's monster, sort of, yeah. Kind of, sort of. And yeah, I mean, if you are playing a deck that's centered around sacrificing creatures, this would definitely be one to put in it. If you'd like to add this card to your Frankenstein black deck, it will cost you 23 cents, and it has not been reprinted. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Magic Gamer 74. I hope you guys enjoyed it, found it informative, and have discovered some new cards to put in your decks. If you did enjoy this episode, let me know by giving me a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload any new material. I don't know about you guys, but I am really looking forward to the next expansion. I, for one, what's that called? Well, I'm looking right here on the website, and I just happened to pull. There it is, Winds of Eldraine, and it's coming out on the 8th of this month. I'm excited because I, for one, am sick and tired of the Lord of the Rings, the whole Middle Earth thing. It's getting really annoying. Anyway, so until next time, I will see all of you Planeswalkers in the arena. Bye for now.